Let's go to Bryant in Jefferson Hill, Indiana, Illinois. Welcome to the Line of Fire.
Oh, that is Indiana, Dr. Brown, Jeffersonville, Indiana.
Okay, got it.
Louisville, Kentucky, where they have the Derby.
Got it. All right. Well, thanks.
Real quick, I'm on a quick break at work, so I'm going to hang up as soon as I answer the question, and I'll listen to your answer on the YouTube.
Yep.
But I was wondering, I know you talk a lot about LGBT issues, always followed you, big fan. And today we live in kind of a good time where if somebody were struggling with LGBT, they could go to fellow followers of Christ, pray to God, have others pray for them, and kind of move out of it and move back into God. What I'm wondering is, if somebody had the LGBT urges and thoughts during the days of the Tanakh in Israel, how would they have done it? Because they couldn't really tell anybody else around them. They might get stoned just for saying they even had the thought. So how would you do it in Tanakh times when you had nobody to talk to about it? Nowadays, you can talk to people about it and move out of the sin. What would you have done back then? Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for the question, Brian. Much appreciated. All right, so to answer you as you go back to work, number one, under the Sinai covenant, things were much stricter, and God appeared to the whole nation and gave them these black and white mandates with death penalties. That's what happens when much is given to you and God appears and delivers you out of a nation. But again, the issue is behavior. We're in a situation in society today where people assume if I feel something, I have to do it. If I feel something, I need to do it. God wants me to do it, etc. Whereas if you're in a situation where you have no alternative, that, in other words, this is not an option, then people live very, very differently. So, yes, it would definitely have been difficult. Yes, for someone who was same-sex attracted, they would not have an outlet. They would not have the ability to just, okay, let's work this through. All right. There's no question that it would have been difficult. Many things under the Sinai covenant were difficult and challenging and brought our sin to the surface. But that would be where that individual would have to cry out to God and take refuge in God. And we have to believe that in all times, God was able to meet people. In other words, let's say there's a man who can't find anyone to marry him, a single man. He can't find a wife to marry him. He wants to marry, but there are no women available. He's still responsible for controlling his desires. He doesn't have the right to go rape someone or go to a prostitute, as difficult as it would be. So if you're talking about Tanakh times, there was not the social consciousness of I'm gay as much as I'm attracted to the same sex, but that's forbidden under our law. So once you close the door to that possibility, it makes it a lot easier to say no to it. When you open the door to the possibility, or when it becomes your identity, it's much more difficult to deal with. But that's where the Psalms come into play. Oh God, I soak my pillow with tears. How long, oh Lord? Where they cry out in anguish, but God comes through for his people. Cast your burdens on the Lord, the Psalms say, for he will sustain you. So if someone was determined, I'm going to honor God, I'm going to live righteously, I'm going to keep the commandments, God would certainly bless them for that. God would certainly strengthen them as they did that and honor that. And he would give sufficient grace. So yes, it may have been more lonely and difficult, people struggling with all kinds of things, but God knows every life. God knows every individual, and he's near to the brokenhearted. Perhaps those people in their brokenness and pain experience more of God's goodness and love than your average Israelite. Hey friends, I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, click on one of the boxes on the screen, check out another one of our videos, and be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss a single video. You know, we discovered that about 60% of you that are watching our videos aren't subscribers. So subscribe today. Doesn't cost you a dime. And if you want to support our work, Line of Fire, and all the things that we do, follow one of the links on the screen below.